To start, like, just kind of like introduce yourselves, like where you're from, age.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Baer. I'm from Huntersville, North Carolina. I'm 22 years old, and this is my last year at WVU.
I'm Isaac Scheer. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm 19, and I'm a freshman here at West Virginia.
How did you guys get into soccer?
To be honest with you, my older brother played. He really liked it, so my parents just decided that it was for me. So I've been playing since I was like 3 years old. Um, yeah, I've been playing for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I'm sort of a similar situation. Like, I think I've been playing since I was like 4 years old, and I had two older brothers who played it, so I was just always surrounded by it. I feel like I always like was destined to play it.
Now, Ryan, because I know you've probably been in the how long have you been in the club for?
So my first year was the U14 year when it was the Carolina Rapids. I was on the academy team, and then I played on obviously the 17s and then the 19s, and then eventually with the first team. So yeah, I've been here since like U14 probably.
Did you play recreation growing up before coming to the Rapids at the time?
Yeah, I did. I played for Stryker Soccer Center, that little kind of area. And then I moved over to like FCA. And then there was nowhere else to go except for academy. I know it's changed now, but it used to be just development academy. So we used to play like Orlando City and like Atlanta United and kind of the MLS team. So that was kind of just like the next step for me. And yeah, so that's when I started.
And then from going from like recreation to competitive, did you know you wanted to make that leap? And if you did know, kind of like what were you hoping, or like what made you go that route?
I just like to win. Like I'm a winner, right? So I knew ever since I was a little kid, like I just, I want to play against like the best kids, right? So it was just like the natural progression for me, really.
And then same goes to you, Isaac. Like, did you start in rec and then move your way into competitive?
Yeah, so like obviously I was in rec when I was younger, and then I think when I was like 8, I went to Charlotte United, played there for a while, and then finally like that collapsed, and I think I went to Rapids at U14 as well, played academy on from there.
And then in the competitive program, um, what kind of separated, granted, like Rapids turned into Independence. So in this case, we'll just continue with Independence. What made Independence stand out compared to like other clubs? Like coaches, the development, just pushing you guys.
I'd say just like the whole pathway, because like the coaches were great and the level was overall great, but you also had like that direct pathway to pro, so there was always another step you could take to be better.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like it was just the closest club really to me. I didn't really, I didn't really want to drive an hour down to Charlotte, and I was kind of fortunate enough that Carolina Rapids at the time was like right next to my house, and they were in the best leagues. So yeah, that's kind of the reason I was there.
I know, Isaac, you mentioned like you had your brother, and he was part of the national championship team.
He was, yes, he was.
Talk about like that experience, kind of like seeing your brother like at a high point in the club, like winning that title, and how that
Yeah.
motivated you.
Yeah, so honestly, like that whole run they had, it was just really fun to watch. I mean, they had a crazy first game that year, I remember, and just the whole thing, like I was there at every game watching, and it was just cool to see that. And I think it ultimately motivated us to go do something special, which we did last December.
Ryan, Jeff mentioned you were academy contract uh, with the first team. Describe that kind of like your experience with the first team and all that.
Yeah, so originally we kind of came for a couple practices, maybe like 5 or 6 of the guys on the 17s and 19s, just to kind of just train with them and kind of get a feel for what it was like. And out of that, 3 of us ended up signing like academy contracts. And yeah, I mean, I was ecstatic. So at the time they were in the USL Championship, so the level was like really, really good. And to just kind of be around a pro environment like that when I was younger, I think has really helped me get to where I'm at now and hopefully make the next step next year.
if you had to take one of the players you played with, like who was a mentor, while you were on like academy contract, who was that person?
Funny enough, I'd have to say Clay Dimick, honestly. At the time, he was kind of still on trial for the championship team, right? But yeah, he definitely helped me out a lot. Granted, he was trying to earn a spot on the team too, so it was it was kind of a weird time, but yeah, if I ever had a question or anything, he was definitely there to answer it for me. As well as another guy, Valentin Sabella. These are all older guys, obviously, so I'm not sure if any of them are still at the Independence, but yeah, they definitely put me under their wing and really helped me when I was younger.
Isaac, how did you find out you were going to get signed as an academy contract with the first team?
It was pretty similar, just like a couple guys coming into practice at first, and then when it came along to preseason, like heard the news we were in for preseason, and then did well in preseason, and like a good few of us signed our academy contract. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
And then who would be your mentor that you had on the team?
Well, I meant it's hard to say. Clay is definitely one of them. He's still there. I love Clay. Um, I mean, there's definitely some guys like it's hard to say mentor, but like definitely guys I'm like close to and would like bounce off of, like Nick, some of the younger guys, like basically all the younger guys, Matt, yeah, just some of those guys.
Like I remember when when you made your debut, describe that feeling, like the training with the first team, and then you got rostered, and now you're running on the field in front of
Yeah.
friends, family, staff, and all that.
Yeah, that was an amazing feeling. It felt like it had been like a long time coming, worked a long time for it, and then just like obviously I was nervous before, but when I got on the field, like all my nerves just went away, and it was an amazing game. It was a great memory for sure.
Ryan, I don't know, like you played before, like I ever came to like to Charlotte. Like, did you make a debut with like the first team at
I
some point?
didn't. I unfortunately I didn't. I made the travel roster maybe about 10 or 15 times. Traveled to some away games, but I never unfortunately made my debut. Never did. It was
And
USL Championship back then, so I would have. I would have.
I knew he was gonna throw that in there.
I would have. I swear.
did you do USL too?
I did for 1 year. Yeah, I did.
Who was
Good
the coach for
memories.
that?
Who was the coach?
I definitely-
It was Shane Carew, and was it Dave Carton? I can't remember if it was Dave Carton or not. I really can't remember. I honestly, it kind of it was short season, like 2-3 months. So
Shout out Dave too. Dave was definitely like the coach who kind of took me under his wing at Independence. So hopefully he does well at Westchester.
shout out Dave.
He's gonna do great things, just hopefully not against us. Kind of going into your recruitment process, and we'll start with like Ryan. Like, what did that look like? Did you always know? You kind of like previewed a bit, like you wanted to be great. You wanted to rise up the ranks. When did you start your recruitment process? Was it early? Was it late?
So pretty much like I was, I would say I'm kind of a bad example of kind of how to get recruited. They always tell you to like email all the coaches and kind of do all that stuff. But I kind of took a different approach. I was like, I'm just gonna wait and see what coaches want me. So I just like pretty much didn't do squat. And fortunately, West Virginia reached out to me my junior year. I went on a great visit. I really enjoyed it. And I pretty much just committed. They showed me enough interest, and like that was all that it was. Like I'm kind of a go with the flow person, so obviously I was talking with a bunch of different schools, but once I knew that the one school was really, really interested in me, I kind of just went with it.
What was your recruitment process? Did you start early?
Yeah, so my dad was actually an ID camp fiend. So like he made me go to all the ID camps and stuff. Honestly, like I wouldn't recommend it personally. It was just a waste of time for me. And then yeah, I got if you play good, you'll get recruited ultimately. So like in playoffs 1 year, had a good game, West Virginia reached out to me, and ever since that it just worked out.
Were they ever on like say were they on your original list, or were they kind of like a surprise school because like they may have reached out first where you've been reaching out to other schools?
They were a surprise school, to be honest. Like I really didn't know anything about West Virginia soccer. I don't even know if I knew they had a soccer team, but they were actually like, I mean, now it's turned out good. Like the soccer program is on the up, so it's been good.
To be a top program in the country, what are you guys doing? Like the work ethic, like what does it take to be a top program in the country?
I mean, I'll answer it. Yeah. So like it takes, first of all, it takes a lot of good players, right? You can have like a good mentality, but if you're just not good enough, you're not good enough. And here we have both. We have guys who are really, really good and they have really, really good mentalities. So like, you see it every day, like people will be saying late in practice. And we just have a lot of older guys who are leaders, right? I know we have a large group of younger guys like Isaac, and I hope they're kind of learning from kind of what we do. And I think it's been just a perfect storm this year of how the younger guys have came in and kind of brought that little boost while the older guys kind of keep the younger guys in check and let them know like what our standards are and how we plan to go about some of these games.
Definitely on like the thing, like honestly, it was like an easy transition because all the older guys, like they helped out so much. I mean, we started the year staying at their houses, got close to them, and yeah, it was just like a bonded right away. So the older guys definitely helped make the transition easy.
And then Ryan, going off of you mentioned leadership. What's the feeling that you were voted captain for 2023 and then again for this coming season?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so this is actually my third year being the captain. At first I'd never been like a captain of a team before, right? So it was kind of something new for me. Um, but yeah, I think it's something that I've really embraced. I wouldn't say I'm the stereotypical captain, but I kind of do my own twist, and I definitely think that people respect me for kind of who I am. But yeah, this is my third year going on, and I've only got 1 year left in college, right? So I'm trying to make this one the best one possible. But yeah, in terms of leadership, for me, I was never just like a leader type of guy. But I want to win, and winning is also leadership, right? So I think if your core is wanting to win, then I think that anyone can be a good leader.
Isaac, I noticed that if I'm looking at the stat sheet correctly, you got a few assists already on the season.
A couple, yeah, too.
What's that got to be like, especially as a freshman?
It's definitely been good, Feel like I've been able to, especially lately, start making an impact in games and put my mark on the game. So yeah, it's great. Hopefully get on the score sheet soon though. That's the goal.
Isaac, I know you know Skinner. Ryan, you know Skinner?
Yeah.
Seeing that like kind of Joey come up through the ranks going from like academy contract, USL2, playing at college, and then now being part of like Nashville and actually making his debut. What's motivating you to kind of follow suit and like try to reach the MLS?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a number of guys that I played with that are playing in the pro ranks. Like not only Joey Skinner, but Sean Suber, Johnny Nianjo is another name that I've played with. These are all guys who I've grown up with, and I know how good they are, and I think I'm just as good as them, right? So I'm just waiting for my opportunity, for my turn, for that to come true. But yeah, to see them doing so well is honestly such a blessing, and it just goes to show kind of the core group that we had at the Independence and kind of the development that we received at the Independence.
Now, is there like a process you're taking currently to kind of like prepare, like just reaching out to scouts? Like personally, I don't know if I don't know what that process is, if there is one, or are you going
Yeah.
through anything?
Yeah, no, so it's actually quite a unique process, right? And a lot of it is you kind of being in the dark, right? So this past year I was eligible to get drafted, right? And you hear teams that say they're going to draft you. You hear teams that say they're interested, but you really don't know anything. And unfortunately, I didn't get picked, right? So yeah, I've also done some like MLS combines this past summer, right? Just kind of getting in front of some of these MLS teams, kind of showing what I can do, and really just showing my personality to them more than anything. But yeah, it's such a unique period, and obviously with winning comes this type of stuff. So hopefully we can just keep winning, and everything like that will sort itself out.
Pretend like I'm an MLS club. Like, what is your message to them on like why they should draft you?
I'm a winner, first of all, right? Like I want you to know that, like, here at West Virginia, we've had one of the best records in the past 5 years, and I think a large part of that is due to me. I know that maybe my stats aren't the greatest, but I'm just a workhorse, right? They like to compare me to Conte here. That's kind of my pro player that I like to kind of model my game after. And although he's not really on the score sheet too often, you see his value in transition, you see his value in interceptions, you see his value in just leadership and kind of how he carries himself on the field, and that's what I do, right? I can't tell you how many balls I must have won last game, right? But that's what I like to do. That's my game. I'm still good in possession. I can play, forward. I can play one touch, two touch. I don't really give the ball away too often. I like to keep it simple. But where you're going to see my value is definitely in transition moments, attacking and defensive.
Like, what would be your advice, like Isaac? Because obviously, Isaac, you've got your eyes set for MLS.
I mean, I would just say trust in our coach, right? I've improved so much over these past 5 years. I can't even tell you how much better I've gotten, and most of it is is due to him and my work ethic, right? There's only so much you can do without work ethic, right? And having the right coaches around you here at WVU, we have that. Like, we're fortunate enough to have those guys. So I would say if you just put your trust in them, and continue to work hard, you're going to get that opportunity.
Thanks, Captain.
Got you, bro.
The player pathway in our club is not always a linear route. Players may go up and down because at that point in time, that may be the best for the player to succeed, which sets them up to succeed in the future. What advice would you give a player who's looking to achieve like their goals?
I would just say, just like trust your instincts. Like, if something is right for you or not, and always just keep grinding no matter what. If you move down a team, if you're not playing your best, just keep working at it and success will come. That's what I think. Like, it's not going to be linear, but as long as you keep working, success will eventually come.
Yeah, I mean, just to build off that, the work ethic is number one, right? Even if you end up, taking a step back, it may not always be a step back in a couple years. You may think that was actually a good thing for you at the time, right? So, you always have to put things into perspective. And I would say, yeah, like Isaac said, just always remember the hard work, and just trust in yourself.
It kind of piggybacks off this a little bit. Like, what advice would you give for players in your club, like who want to follow your path, whether it's play collegiately or aspirations to play MLS?
I would just say, like, if it's your dream, if you're passionate about it, just go for it. Do everything you can in your power to make that dream come true, because, like, I mean, you won't regret it if you do.
Like, I would say for me, like, you have to work really, really hard. And I think that that's something that kind of doesn't get stated enough, right? Like, if you're not doing the extra things, if you're not like putting in the extra work when other people aren't, then you're just not going to get better than them. And I think that's something that needs to be said more, right? Everyone that plays professional soccer was doing stuff that, the other kids weren't doing, or they were staying after later, or they were doing stuff on their own. For me, that's the biggest advice I could give someone that wants to get to the next level, is just simply do more than the next person.
And then is there any like last minute thoughts that you guys want to like leave everyone who's watching this or even listening?
Watch West Virginia on ESPN Plus, or come support us. Come to Dick Delesk. Big game next Friday against Kentucky. So yeah, we're always here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll just say, I enjoy my time at the Independence greatly, and I'm very thankful for what they did for me in my pathway. And yeah, like Isaac said, let's go Mountaineers. See y'all at ESPN Plus next Friday, 7 p.m.
Great. Now I have a deadline to actually get this up by then.
Hell yeah. Well, cool. Hey, thank you. Nice to meet you, Nate. I appreciate you.
Yep. Good luck on the rest
Thank
of
you,
your
Nate.
season.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one.